Thanks for listening to Middle Aged and Mediocre. I'm Cash.
I'm Joel.
And we are a podcast about all things strange and unusual, death and UFOs, and other creepy,
cults,
weird, random
ghosts.
There you go.
Yeah. Not just naming things in the room.
Oh my god.
There's a cult of ghosts.
Hello, everybody.
That was a lot better.
That was a lot better.
That wasn't awkward. Hello.
That was like our fourth take.
It's like when you're at the store and you turn the aisle and you're like second cousins there. You didn't really. Hi.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, we're back.
We are here. We're middle-aged and mediocre.
Oh fuck.
I'm Cash.
So much. I'm mediocre. I'm Joel.
You're Joel.
Yeah.
We
We don't know if we're middle aged. I hope you know.
You don't know till you die.
Nope.
Until you die.
Nope.
And then
You gotta do that. That's not backward math.
yes, that's right. A death math.
Yeah, let's not do
You
it.
gotta do some of that death math. Well, we are back. What's going on, man?
Just
We took a
stuff.
week off, I think.
Yeah, I had comedy.
Yeah.
Had a big comedy show Saturday.
You had to tell jokes.
Yeah, I had to. So I went up, did that. That was a lot of fun. I have more comedy coming up. Should we get that on?
What was the show you just did?
Airport Tavern. That was the
Yeah.
show there with Jacob Hall's headliner, Nikki Ryan, and Angie Davis. And then what did I say about the?
You got a Jackson one coming up, maybe?
No, I'm not doing that open mic. I have one at the Lost Anchor this Saturday in Vienna with Rob Ward.
Is that a restaurant?
Yeah, it's a
club thing?
restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, is their second show. The first one looked sold out.
Nice.
Yeah, Nikki's hosting that one. I get the feature, and Rob, he's won like something at the Apollo. I just read. That's the guy that's telling you.
Yeah,
about.
he has toured with Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he looks like legit, pretty legit.
So that's
dude,
this Saturday?
That's this Saturday.
Okay.
At the Lost Anchor in Vienna.
So if you're from around town,
That's
what
West
time is
Virginia.
that? What time is it?
Probably 8.
Probably 8. That
Yeah.
sounds about good.
That sounds
about
7 or
accurate.
8. You know.
Yeah, I've seen him. I've seen Rob Ward before.
Okay, cool.
On Comedy Central and stuff. So.
Yeah. So he was on Comedy Central.
So he is funny. I thought he was one of the. Kevin Hart has like a group that goes around with him, either called like the Red Cup Boys or the Plastic Cup Boys.
It said he was on the Lit AF tour.
Yeah, he's not a part of the. I thought he was one of the dudes in that group, but he's not.
If he plays his card right, he might be a good boy extraordinaire.
He may be.
He's GBX, and that's better than anything.
He may be. A new member of the Middle Age podcast.
Yeah,
if we
okay.
get him to a. Wonder. That's what we need. We need like start doing some call-in interviews and things. You need to meet these people.
Yeah.
Get us to their audience.
Yeah.
That's how this works.
I'll get with Kevin Farley for my show next month.
Well,
then.
I mean, it's Chris Farley pretending to be a guy named Kevin Farley.
If he keeps saying that, he's definitely not coming on. And if he is, he's going to be pissed.
I would like to ask him, why are you hiding your identity all these years? He looks exact. I know they're brothers.
I was going to say, that's G's.
But my God, they look exactly alike.
And he's from Wisconsin.
Are they twins?
I'm sure 80% of Wisconsin looks like that.
Oh, so now you're just mocking Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, yeah. Fucking cheeseheads.
Well, they're not going to like that down there in Wisconsin.
Oh, it's okay. Come talk to me, Wisconsin.
A lot of murder there in
A
Wisconsin.
lot of badgers.
A lot of badgers.
From what I hear.
We guess.
Badgers and bucks. Oh, my.
So when's the show with Kevin Farley?
That's March 25th.
And that's at the Smoot
Or March
Theater.
28th or March 15th. That's sometime in
Yeah,
there.
but that's at the Smoot.
That's at
That's
the
a
Smoot.
cool theater.
Yeah, with Dan Ellison, the redneck, the educated redneck.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
those
his,
are rare.
that's his thing.
All right. I feel like that's what isn't that kind of Cliff Cash's gimmick?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
He says it though, a little bit. Okay, here it is. I have it. February 25th, Saturday. Rob Ward. 8 o'clock? Does it say on here? I'm saying 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock.
know, man.
9 o'clock.
This is your thing.
I know. I'm so good at it. I'm so good at it. Oh, then I am back at Gators, too. Fucking March 18th. Can we just take a second to look who's on the show as well?
Do you want me to say it? Or?
Sure.
Oh, no. Why?
I don't know. But go to that show, too.
So that one's March 18th at Gators, St.
Yeah.
Patrick's Day Comedy Show, 8 p.m.
Me and Nikki again.
Hosted by
That's Patrick.
St. Pat Finkel
Yeah.
with Ryan Haroff, Joel Gant, Nikki Ryan, featuring Bryce Vickers, And Uncle Larry.
Uncle Larry!
Jesus Christ, why is he on there?
All right, but that'll be a fun show, fun comedy show.
Showtime's 8 p.m. Pre-sale tickets available, or at the pub and online. $18 a ticket, 21 or $10 a ticket, 21 plus show. Unless accompanied by a parent.
Oh, so kids, come on out and see Uncle Larry.
And that Gators Pub is located in Marietta, Ohio.
Maybe we'll do a post on the Middle Aged and Mediocre Facebook page.
Yeah, you got to start sending me these things.
Yeah,
and I can,
we'll get like a little something made up.
Start sharing them.
Yeah.
So I would like to start off by giving out a disclaimer, I guess.
Okay.
I didn't know I need to do this. Or maybe this is like my apology video. Or my apology thing.
You got a lot to be sorry for, mister. So I've been looking forward to this.
Got a whole list of things. No, so I don't know if you saw it. I posted a TikTok the other day, which I thought was like...
Is that where you're playing the little ukulele?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
I thought like it was very apparent that I was joking. So I posted a thing where I was talking about how
the balloon, right?
The balloons and all this.
Yeah.
This is just the government distracting us. I mean, it's clear as day.
Yeah.
You know. And then I said, anyways, here's Wonderwall.
Sure.
And I had a little tiny toy pink ukulele, and I sang the wrong lyrics. I sang.
I wish you would.
Yeah, Jumper.
Yeah.
From Third Eye Blind.
Yeah.
And
the whole thing's a parody.
I had little like stickers of like the crazy guy from the History Alien show where he's always everything's aliens.
Oh yeah.
Like I had all this stuff where I was like, clearly this is parody.
Yeah.
You know, and I figured there would be like a few people like that I didn't know comment to like agree with it, like thinking I was, and I got tons of that. Unfortunately, now I have quite the MAGA following on TikTok.
No.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I got tons of follows from people with Trump in their profile picture, MAGA.
Oh.
I'm getting messages from people where they're sending me like stories about how this is all cover up.
Oh no!
So I've infiltrated the group.
You're in there.
But here's the thing that has blown my mind.
I give it a week and you're going to be full on like a MAGA.
You're
going to be a
Trumper.
Trumper.
You're going to come over here.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a big Trump Rambo flag.
Yep.
Here's the thing though. The amount, like, I mean, it's only, I can count the people on one hand.
Yeah.
But that's still too many for me. That know me, like, have been around me, and they've messaged me going, like, are you serious? Like, what do you think they're distracting us from? And I've been like, it was a joke. I was just being funny. And they were like, oh, I didn't get that. Like, I thought you were serious.
Oh.
I was like, did the sarcastic tone of voice and the tiny pink ukulele not give it away? So, just if you're out there listening, and you stumble upon that TikTok video, I was not being serious, because here's the thing. Why, like, who in their right mind thinks that we need to be distracted still?
Yeah.
The only thing anyone cared about was Rihanna's halftime performance. And, like, if that was, woke or not. Like, we are already distracted.
Yeah.
The government does not need to distract us anymore. We care about dumb shit. The only thing, like, have you been following all of the shit that's been getting shot down?
Nope. I mean, I see the jokes.
There's been like 4 or 5 things now.
Yeah.
And it's, all these people are, they think it's like all a distraction. Like, they're trying to do something underhanded.
While we're looking at that, what are we missing?
Yeah.
We would just be looking at something else. You just
so
be on your phone or
it's just the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah.
I do believe, like, I do find it funny that there was one that was like shot down over Lake Huron, Michigan, and then one shot down somewhere else kind of in that area. And they haven't been able to, like, they came out and said they can't find them. Which so now I'm wondering, did you find them? Are they aliens?
Yeah.
But no, that's bullshit.
Remember Balloon Boy?
Balloon Boy, he was in his like upstairs closet.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you see, please know that the things I post, I am not serious ever about things.
And you don't give a fuck.
And if you know me, like, how do you think I'm being serious about this?
It's not much of an apology, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're kind of calling people stupid for just.
I said kind of my apology. I'm apologizing.
I'm sorry, y'all are so stupid.
I'm apologizing on others' behalf for being dumb.
I get it. Oh, that's cool. That's good.
You know, like I said, I figured there would be some people that
put out that blanket statement
that I didn't know that would leave comments. You know, like one guy commented, and he was like, "More of this? What do you like? Do you really think they're trying to distract us?" And I'm like, "No, dude."
What did you like my
Did
guitar?
you not see the ukulele?
I play a little guitar.
I have a tiny little toy.
Yeah.
I have it right here.
And where'd that come from? That was my question from all this. Is where did you get a little tiny pink ukulele?
I bought it one day at like a dollar store.
Okay.
Just because I was like, I'll use this in a video one day.
Yeah, and you did. All right.
You can't. There's like, it doesn't make music.
No, it's $1.
Yeah.
It's not.
But it's got a little bunny on it.
Oh, it says rabbit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like the side, like, I mean, my hand. It's almost.
You could honky tonk someone with that though. Still hit him in the head. Come on.
Kinda.
Yeah.
It would do some damage, I think.
Sure.
But I'll be performing at the Smoot as well. Outside the Smoot.
Until they stop me.
Until they make me leave. We got a couple stories for you. We got 3 for you, actually, today. And the first one's I'm going to kind of go right into this from the government cover-up angle. So
you're sending all the mixed signals right now, okay?
Well, this one, so there's no way this went down the way they're saying it went. Like, something was going on here, and it's just a very strange story about a man that was found dead.
Oh.
So this took place in 2010, August 23rd, 2010. Late afternoon, police officers arrived at Flat 4 on 36 Alderney Street in Pimlico, which I'm not exactly sure where that's at.
To say flat, that's like a kind of like a British term, isn't it?
It was in Baltimore.
Okay, Baltimore, same thing.
And it was at, Flat 4. You would think that would be.
I mean, aren't all apartments flat?
You would think so.
Huh?
No, it's in London.
Okay,
it's in London. So the police arrived there to do a welfare check on a resident there, and it was warm outside. It was summer. You know, it was August. The heating inside was turned up to 86 degrees.
Toasty.
So it was hot in there. It was warm, but everything was quiet. Officers walked through the apartment, calling out for the person who lived there. Nothing came. No response came through. Then, the place was like spotless. It was very clean. Looked like nobody actually been there in days. There were some boxes and suitcases. Looked like somebody was planning on moving out. Actually, there was laptops, 2 cell phones, a couple of SIM cards. But the guy that was supposed to be living there, Gareth Williams, was nowhere to be found. Gareth Williams was a Welsh-born crypto analyst who came to London from the government communications headquarters in Cheltenham. He had failed to show up for work. It had been about a week since anybody had heard from him, and his work had called the police to do a welfare check for him. In the master bedroom, officers saw men's clothing neatly folded and laid out on the bed. There was a gown, a dresser, and a duvet.
All right.
They looked like they were they were out of place. They were the only thing that was kind of out of place in this whole place. It looked like they were kind of like thrown on the floor.
Yeah.
Then they noticed in the bathtub.
Someone was going through the dresser and the duvet.
In the bathtub, they found a big red duffel bag. They walked closer. They saw that the bag was zip closed, and locked with a padlock. So then Officer John Gallagher lifted the bag and noticed a reddish fluid trickling out of the bottom.
Oh, there's a body in that bag.
They made a small incision, and inside the bag they found the decomposing body of a man that they believed to be Gareth Williams. So Gareth was born September 26, 1978, and he was in Wales. He had one sister, always close to her. His first language was Welsh. He was exceptionally bright as a student, very, very good at mathematics. He passed his standardized high school test. He basically passed high school at age 10.
Damn.
He was very brilliant. He stayed in high school, however, ended up getting a part-time degree, managed to complete his degree in mathematics at Bangor University by the time he was 17 years old. After that, he went on to complete his PhD in computer science at the University of Manchester. From there, he enrolled at St. Catherine's College to do a postgraduate degree. Before he could finish his studies, though, his life changed pretty dramatically. He came to the attention of Britain's government communications headquarters soon after graduating. Their communication headquarters is the UK's equivalent of America's National Security Agency, or NSA.
NSA!
The GCHQ gathered information and assess possible security risks of the UK. They are also responsible for securing UK's own communications. They get their information from monitoring online and telephone activity. Edward Snowden, that was what he exposed with some of their practices, like the fact that they spied on foreign politicians during the 2009 G20 summit in London. They did this by tapping into their phones and computers, and then said, that's all in the name of national security.
Sure.
So it was rumored that Gareth was spotted by the GCHQ as a online gamer. He was also amazing, online games. He was a smart dude. Between his intelligence and his qualification in mathematics, he was targeted by them to become like a valuable asset for them. When they employed him as a code breaker, crypto analyst, he abandoned his studies at Cambridge. So the GCHQ's building is referred to as the Donut, and it is located in Cheltenham. In order to be closer to work, he rented an apartment in the nearby Gloucestershire that would become his home for the next 10 years.
Damn.
He stayed close to his family in Wales and visited them often. He was really secretive about his job, though. Did not discuss his work with them, which is pretty par for the course if you're working for a national security establishment. He was a quiet.
Mr. Martin Lawrence.
He was a quiet and private person who enjoyed the finer things in life: art, music, and theater. He also had an appreciation for fashion and design, and it was not unusual for him to give his sister clothing as gifts. He would buy her like really nice clothes.
Yeah.
He loved to cycle. He was at his happiest when he was cycling in the mountains. His job required him to spend significant time at the RAF Menwith Hill in Harrogate, which has been described as the largest electronic monitoring station in the world. It is a communications intercept site that provides intelligence to the UK and the USA. Because of close relations between international agencies, he also worked at NSA headquarters in Maryland, which, that's weird.
That's America.
Both places we thought that place was.
Yeah.
So in 2009, he was seconded to Britain's Secret Intelligence Service, MI6, in London for 3 years. He gave up his apartment. Mission Impossible, their group. He gave up his apartment in Prestbury and took occupancy in a government-owned building in Pimlico, central London. While working for MI6, he was working as one of a 4-person team. He was what they call operationally active and had access to sensitive information regarding foreign intelligence. His job, described by a senior MI6 agent, only known as F, which is apparently a thing they really do.
What the F?
Was developing practical applications for emerging technologies. It sounds like I work in logistics.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Work in logistics.
Logistics.
One of his last projects was to assist the NSA to uncover international money laundering routes used by organized crime groups. One group the investigation focused on was a Moscow-based mafia ring. Gareth spent most of the summer in the U.S., a combination of work and travel. He attended DEF CON, a hackers convention in Vegas, before returning to London on the 11th of August. By August 2010, he had enough of the fast-paced life of operational work and requested to return to the GCHQ. He missed his life in the country, and the job in London wasn't quite his cup of tea. He confided in his sister about it, and she later remembered the conversation. She said that he disliked the office culture, going out for post-work drinks, the flashy car competitions, like everybody, my car is better than yours, and just the rat race of that kind of life. He even spoke of friction in the office. So he had to finish up some work.
They're probably eating his lunch out of the fridge. I've worked in an office.
Math nerd.
Yeah. Hey, math nerd, you have 4 cans of pop. I drink 2. How many you got now?
His previous landlady from Prestbury was glad to hear from him when he called and asked if he could move back into his old apartment. He returned from the States and was captured on CCTV traveling around London on on the Tube, which I assume is like a subway.
That's a subway, yeah.
Okay. And visiting shops in the West End and Knightsbridge. He was seen at Harvey Nichols on the 12th of August, at Fortnum and Mason on the 14th, and then buying cakes from Harrods the following day. He also went to a comedy club in East London to watch a drag show by British comedian Johnny Woo called The Johnny Woo Experience. On the CCTV footage, he is always alone and looks relaxed as he makes his way from one place to the next. In the early hours of August 16th, his laptop had been used to access a cycling website. This would be the last known actions of Gareth Williams. On Monday, the 16th of August, Gareth was supposed to chair a meeting at the MI6 building, but failed to show up. He was extremely punctual. His colleagues even said that he was like a Swiss clock, very punctual and very efficient. However, it would take another 7 days before they followed up by calling his family, asking if they knew where he was. You'd think MI6 would be a place.
Yeah. Maybe be a little bit on top of it.
You would think like 2 hours.
They're like investigating Moscow mobs.
But they're like, let's give it 7 days. Let's give it a week.
He's never ever been late ever once, but
their failure to raise the alarm sooner would become a point of scrutiny in the investigation. MI6 contacted the Metropolitan Police and requested that they do a welfare check at Gareth's apartment. Like I said, they found the apartment neat. Everything seemed to be in order. No signs of forced entry or burglary. Did not look like any kind of physical altercation had taken place. When they found the sports bag with the human remains in the bathtub, they kind of realized this is some serious shit. Before they could initiate their investigation, though, the heads of the Secret Intelligence Service and the Metropolitan Police met to decide which agency should take charge of the case. Shortly before his death, Gareth qualified to do operational deployment or field work. Because he had worked closely with the NSA and FBI in America, the U.S. State Department requested that any details regarding his work remain confidential in the course of the investigation. The FBI conducted their own investigation into his death, but kept their findings confidential. Forensic technicians were sent to the flat on Alderney Street to start the investigation. The apartment was owned by a company registered in the British Virgin Isles, and the Tennessee was in the name of the Secretary of State. Some sources came out and said that it was a safe house, but due to lack of security measures, it's probably more reasonable to assume that it was a place where security service agents stayed when they had business in London. Gareth, who had a 3-year lease, was given access to stay in the flat when he was in town. With the work he did, he traveled often, only used this place like between trips.
Yeah.
His sister, Sari, said that he was very specific about who he'd let into the apartment, usually only people who had MI5 or MI6 security clearance. He was
MI4? Get the fuck out of here.
MI7? Not today. He always looked after the keys and made sure no one else had access to his apartment.
Huh.
So the red North Face bag that they'd found the body in was locked with a padlock from the outside. The key to the padlock was inside the bag underneath Gareth's body. Gareth was naked and placed in a fetal position with his hands folded onto his chest, and his face had a calm expression to it. The autopsy could not find any injuries or signs of a struggle on his body. He had some bruises on his elbows, but not significant enough to have caused serious harm. He did not have any patterns of bruising, indicating that he was restrained before his death.
What if the elbows, if he was just in the tub trying to get out of the bag and just kept knocking his elbows against the tub?
So toxicology showed small traces of alcohol and the drug GHB, but the amounts were very, very little.
He's a party boy!
Well, he didn't drink.
Maybe.
He didn't take recreational drugs, according to
So maybe someone forced him
friends
to
and family.
drink.
However, the advanced stage decomposition, both of those could have been present naturally. This infuriated Gareth's family and forensic scientists. If Gareth's absence from work was reported sooner, forensic testing could have been much more effective. 3 different pathologists performed post-mortem examinations. All 3 were unable to say what the cause of death was. Most likely, they concluded asphyxiation or poisoning. The only hint of hope was that they had a small amount of DNA found on Gareth's hand. However, it was later revealed that the DNA belonged to one of the forensic technicians who must have come in contact with Gareth's hands when they took his body out of the bag. Evidence found at the apartment in Pimlico deepened the mystery even further. Strangely, there was no DNA or fingerprint evidence in the bathtub, not even prints or DNA belonging to Gareth. If he'd been living there, if he had showered or taken a bath in that time, there most definitely would have been traces of his DNA in the bathroom.
Well, someone wiped it down.
Technicians managed to find small traces of DNA on the zipper fasteners and handles of the duffel bag. But they were not able to...
I have DNA all over my zipper
fasteners. All over.
Wow.
They would have too much DNA.
Yeah, what do we do with all the DNA?
DNA. All right, throw away 85% of that DNA. DNA was also found on Gareth's phone and on a towel.
I got a DNA towel, all right.
That happens sometimes. But they didn't have any, they didn't have a match to compare it to. So all that it proved was that two people other than Gareth had been in the flat, but it was not clear who. Coming out of the bathroom when the bag was found, investigators looked at the master bedroom. On the bed were stacks of men's clothing neatly folded and laid out. In the living room on the dining table, there was a cell phone with 2 SIM cards next to it. The phone had been erased and restored to factory settings. In front of the sofa, on the floor, was a laptop and another cell phone. Then some elements drew investigators' attention. This would feed the tabloids' desperate need for scandal and take this investigation in a whole new direction. In the spare room, they found 20,000 pounds worth of, which whatever that equals dollars, worth of designer women's clothing and shoes. It all looked brand new, and the clothing was neatly folded and packed with tissue paper. Only 2 of the many pairs of shoes had been worn. There was also a bright red lady's wig hanging over the back of a dining room chair. Theories emerged that Gareth could have been a crossdresser.
Yeah, he was at that comedy show.
He was at the comedy show.
Not that, but...
Right. Some people came forward and said that they thought he was gay, but there was no interest or evidence of any love interest in Gareth's life, gay or heterosexual. He mostly just worked and kept to himself. But investigators were puzzled by the large amount of women's clothing found in the apartment. Gareth's friends and family members said they did not believe the clothes were ever intended to be used by Gareth. They guessed that he had purchased it to give to his sister and friends. He had an appreciation for fashion, so much so that he had taken 2 fashion design courses at Central St. Martin's College in London without telling his bosses. So the apartment was not his. It was government property used by the Secret Service. So this could have belonged to a whole different agent, like a female agent who maybe had already a large enough wardrobe that she needed. Maybe she used his apartment to put some stuff in. Sure. And he was lean and athletic, but he was muscular. It doesn't seem like he would have even fit. These were all mostly size 8.
Yeah.
In December of 2010, details that Gareth visited a number of bondage websites was leaked to the media. And now, the media started to question, was his death a BDSM encounter gone wrong? Did things get a little too rough?
Oh, put me in a duffel bag.
A strange incident from his past came out when his landlady, who let him into the apartment and all that, recalled that she was woken one night by screams for help from his apartment. Together with her husband, they rushed to his aid, using their spare key to gain access to his flat. They found him tied to his bed. He told them that he had tied himself to the bed and wanted to see if he'd be able to get himself out of it, but he failed. He was embarrassed and apologized, assuring them it would never happen again, and it hadn't. The media sensationalized the fact that he had gone to a drag show shortly before his death. There was also an unconfirmed report of him visiting a gay bar near his office at MI6. They speculated that he may have locked himself into the bag because it was maybe a fetish of his.
With the key underneath them.
Right, and zipped it somehow and locked it with a padlock.
Yeah, in a bathtub.
So investigators had to determine if it would have even been possible for him to have climbed into the bag himself.
Randy's like, oh, it's possible. Randy's in the background.
Oh, you can get it done, mate. Well, I guess they're not in Australia.
Randy might be.
Randy might be Australian.
Look at those.
They were able to rule out the suicide theory pretty quickly, though. Although he was not 100% happy with his current job situation.
Who is?
He was about to return to GCHQ and his old apartment, his Juicy Q, in his old apartment in the country. There were no indications that he was depressed or suicidal. He made plans to meet his sister a couple days after his death, which proved that he did not foresee his own demise. From the investigation into Gareth's personal life, it became evident that he was not into BDSM. The percentage of time Gareth spent on the websites was small. It only happened from time to time, and none of the sites included anything about claustrophilia, which is getting sexual gratification from being in small spaces.
Yeah. All I had to do was come over to my old apartment. It was tiny!
If only he could have lived long
You remember it?
I do. It was a cozy little place. The searches were made on his phone. The searches to the BDSM sites were made on his phone, not his laptop. And he'd only visited them 4 times in the space of 2 years. It's more likely that the sites were pop-ups that he clicked, possibly accidentally. Nothing else in his life supported the theory that he ever practiced BDSM. The fact that the key to the padlock was found inside the bag gave the him trying to escape from the bag, like see if he could do it, that gave it some credence. But if he had entered the bag as part of an exercise, surely there would have been evidence that he had researched it somehow. He would perhaps have done contortion training or educated himself in the art of escaping. But the key was found under his body.
And no one heard, I mean, he was able to get his landlady before when he tied himself to the bed, but this is just like
he just gets in there.
He would have to be in that bag for days before he died.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
so there was no, you thought he would have been thrashing around.
Yeah. More than just his elbows hurt.
Right.
You know, his knees, thighs, just everything.
Well, and you would think he'd probably be able to kind of set up.
Yeah.
Try to get out of the bathtub. You wouldn't think he'd just lay in the bathtub for 7 days.
I'd be able to rip that bag, but yeah.
Well, he probably couldn't make it 7 days without air, of course.
Yeah. Would it be airtight? I guess it could be.
Probably. They brought in a group of experts.
That'd be a hell of an advertisement for North Face.
It would. Among them was a yoga expert as well as a military expert. They were about the same build as Gareth, only slightly smaller. Between them, they made more than 400 attempts to see if they could possibly lock themselves in the bag. Although they proved that he could have climbed into the bag himself, the shape of the bathtub was a hindrance. He would have had to prop himself up and push against the sides, entering the bag head first. That would have definitely left behind DNA or fingerprints on the sides of the bath. Yeah. Once he was inside the bag in the confined space, he would not have been able to hook the padlock into the zipper and lock himself inside. There's simply no way that could have happened. Because of the position of his body, experts concluded that he must have been alive but unconscious when he went into the bag. In the confined space of the bag, he would have suffocated to death in a matter of minutes.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
If he was unconscious but alive when he was placed into the bag, someone else had to be there. So it was very likely this was not an accident or him practicing. This was murder, and someone's attempt to dispose of the body.
It's like they started to dispose of it. They're like, this is just too much
possibly
work.
They thought of putting him in the bag and then taking him elsewhere, but then maybe they decided hey, we don't feel like fucking carrying this guy.
It'd be heavy in the bag. That's dead weight.
So, to many people, including ex-MI6 agents who were interviewed about the case, what was significant about the evidence at the apartment on Alderney Street was perhaps not what was found, but rather what was not found. The lack of fingerprints, footprints, and DNA in the bathtub made it clear that there had been some kind of cleanup. Gareth's family suspected that MI6 was involved in the cover-up because of the nature of his work in the Secret Service.
Maybe he found something that...
Yeah. The MI6 had also waited for 7 days before they, made any attempts to check on him. A former anonymous MI6 agent said that it was customary for British intelligence to clean up if one of their agents perished. He said that if they did do it in Gareth's case, it would have been to make sure that the top secret info did not get into the wrong hands. However, this would mean that the evidence was also destroyed. Gareth's funeral was held at the end of September 2010. The head of MI6 was there too and said that Gareth was a talented person who did valuable work in the interest of national security. The investigation had no solid leads. It was estimated that his death occurred a week before he was found, around the 16th of August. The heating in the apartment was turned up in the middle of summer, which would have expedited the decomposition.
Why would they do that?
You
would think that would make it smell worse. They'd want to crank the AC to
You would think, but it would also mean that if he was poisoned, it would be harder to test for substances.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The leading theory was that he was poisoned.
You sure do know a lot about murder.
But it was going to be extremely difficult to prove because, decomp. But they never really came to a conclusion on it. They Expert witness Peter Faulding explained his attempts to climb into the bag and lock himself into it. He told the coroner what his conclusion was, quote, "I couldn't say it's impossible, but I think even Houdini would have struggled with this one." Many witnesses were later called to testify about Gareth's private life, as well as his professional life. Some MI6 agents could not have their identities revealed and testified from behind a screen. During the investigation, Metropolitan Police investigators learned for the first time that MI6 had searched Gareth's locker in the MI6 building shortly after his disappearance. They found 9 memory sticks, which was something not allowed in MI6 because it could be used to take information out or to bring information in. It was a huge violation, and Gareth would have been in big trouble because of it. However, due to the nature of the contents, MI6 would not hand over these memory sticks to the police. At the conclusion of the investigation, the coroner ruled that Gareth's death was, quote, unnatural and likely to have been criminally mediated. And that was pretty much where they left it.
Huh.
But yeah, so they just, they still, a lot of people think it was possibly a former KGB agent named Boris Karpichov. He had defected from Russia. He claimed that Russian foreign intelligence was behind Gareth's murder. He alleged that they tried to blackmail him into becoming a double agent, but he wouldn't do it. He said that he already knew of a spy within GCHQ. Boris defected to the UK in 1998. They never could prove this or whatever, so it could have been the Russians. Could have been MI6, taking out one of their own guys. But yeah, they never really, very definitely a government cover up of some sort.
Well, I mean, you sleep in the bed with dogs, and you're gonna end up in a bag in a bathtub.
And all that.
Yeah.
But just the fact that they first thought that, there was their leading theory for a long time was that he had done this himself.
Yeah.
Which pretty hard to do.
Yeah.
I think it'd be one thing if he if it wasn't for the padlock.
Yeah.
I think that's where you're just all right. How
being in the bathtub too.
Yeah.
I feel like that would just
why would you go to the bathtub to do it? You think you'd want space, you'd be on the bedroom floor,
yeah.
Or, on the bed,
just be able to wiggle around a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fucked up, yo.
But just another one of those cases where it's clearly this isn't what you guys are saying it is.
Yeah. What are they trying to distract us from?
And it's what are you trying to distract us from?
Huh?
These aliens?
Is it?
Did aliens do this to Gareth?
Did they?
So, that's the first story up. We'll be right back. We're going to take an ad break.
Ad break?
And then we'll be right back.
Okay.
With 2 other stories.
We'll be right back.
And they are very weird.
When we're right back.
Bye. Or for now.
Bye.
Ta-ta for now. TTFN.
Just go!
All right, we're going. Now. Right?
Now.
Now. We are back. Now.
Yep.
And forever. For a little while. I woke you up.
Forever.
I do like those glasses.
Thanks, buddy.
You got new glasses. Now that I'm looking at them.
Now that
I like them.
Look at me in the face.
Yeah, now that I, have to look at you in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got new glasses.
They make you look like, they make you look like you're up to something.
I'm always up to something.
That's what they make you look like.
Okay, I'm always up to something.
Make you look like you're up to, you're going to invent something soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the double bar, maybe?
I don't know, maybe. Yeah.
Good,
make you look really smart.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not.
Well.
I'm glad that I don't have to disappoint you. You already know that I'm not.
I think, you don't want to be too smart.
No.
You just want to be
That doesn't make sense to me, but if you say so.
You just want to be smart enough.
I'm not even smart enough to agree with that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been waiting my whole life for someone to say you don't want to be too smart, and I'll be like, don't worry.
Already there.
Already there.
Nailed it. All right. We got 2 more very, very weird stories.
Hey, we just had an ad break. Can we do an anti-ad break?
What would that be?
Fuck Menards.
Fuck Menards.
Fuck Menards. I want to get into Menards for... Can we get into Menards for a second?
You have built your nards up so much.
Fuck, dude. I wanted to like Menards more than I wanted to like anything else.
We stopped there.
Why'd we stop?
Every time we go, to Athens, Ohio, we pass Menards.
Menards!
And you...
I go crazy.
You love it.
I love it.
You love it.
I have you look at Menards.
I hear about your Nards for 12 to 15 minutes. But today we decided, after we went to the flea market there in Athens, I decided, let's stop at Menards because maybe they have, like, sports cards.
Maybe.
Because all kinds of random places do now.
Sure.
And it's supposed to be, like, basically a Walmart meets, like, a Lowe's.
Yeah, like if a Walmart and a Lowe's fucked in the back of a Kmart, you'd get a Menards.
Yeah. So I thought maybe we'd have some cards there.
Yeah. Cards at Menards.
Menards. So we go in. There's no cards. You have to go through a turnstile.
Yeah.
Just to walk through. Which
I
don't like. I don't like it at all. And then it's just,
I was like, am I going to get stuck on this thing? I worry about shit that's never going to happen.
It's like, why are we doing this? Let me walk freely through.
Yeah. You said it. You felt like cattle in there.
I felt like we were bringing. So like once you're through the turnstile, you can't just go back through the turnstile and leave. We had we walked around this damn store back and forth for like 20 minutes trying to figure out how the hell to get out.
Yeah.
So we ended up having to go out a whole different.
We saw that same couple with 2 carts and 3 kids
standing in the Febreze, looking at Febreze for
taking up the whole aisle. Oh my god!
But yeah, Menards sucks.
Fuck Menards.
Your Nards blows.
I'm sorry about Menards.
You have some of the worst Nards I've ever been in.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to put that out there for people. We have it. This is our anti-ad.
I don't ever want to go into your Nards again.
I don't even know if I'll yell Menards when I drive by it. I will. But I don't know if I will.
I think they've ruined that.
They might have.
I think
it used to be so much fun.
They don't live up to their expectations.
I'm like, oh, it's dark. Can you still see Menards?
Yeah.
Can you find Menards in the dark?
No more.
They ruined it.
I say let the dark have them.
Okay.
Yeah. That place sucks.
From now on, we're a non-Menards podcast.
I think it just shows you like how non-grown up we are, though.
It proves not to meet your heroes.
Like we see it and we're just like, this is all so boring.
It was the worst in there.
It was just like a bunch of shit that like I don't have time for.
No, there's so much to look at.
Yeah.
It's just fuck Menards.
I like the anti-ads. Where else do we hate?
Oh, let's just get to the stories.
All right, so do you want to hear about weird twins or a very strange disappearance of a little girl?
Let's save the twins for last.
All right. Well, then up first, let's talk about little Pauline Picard.
Okay.
So we're going all the way back to 1922. April 6th, 1922. 2-year-old Pauline Picard disappeared while playing outside on her family's farm.
How old?
2 years old.
Oh, shit.
This was in northern France.
Okay.
Saint Rival. So more than 150 people combed the Picard family farm and surrounding woods and countryside the day she disappeared, trying to find the missing toddler. But they didn't find anything. Pauline's family assumed she'd wandered off from the farm and had fallen victim to the cold or been attacked and eaten by a wild boar. Without a body, though, there was still a chance she was alive. So there was talk of a chimney sweep that came into the village and enticed Pauline with candy. A neighbor said she saw two teenagers who hung around, or 2 strangers who hung around the farm during the time the disappearance took place. So everybody's coming out of the woodwork with I saw this person.
I saw someone that might.
Detectives in the area spent the next month searching the countryside, but found no trace of Pauline. It was like she had just vanished. Her parents and the police initially suspected the girl was kidnapped, but there was neither a ransom note nor any other evidence of kidnapping. Together with hundreds of helpers, the police searched for clues in the nearby fields and forests. All the neighbors and all the inhabitants of the surrounding towns and villages were questioned. Nothing turned up, though. The search turned up no trace of the missing girl, and the hopes began to fade. Early in the investigation, suspicion fell on a man called Caramon. He was an umbrella salesman, which has got to be just tough work.
Yeah.
1922, I mean, maybe you could sell a few. Can't
imagine when it rains?
Can't imagine now some guy come to my door.
You ever want to go out in the rain but not be wet?
Hello, governor. Would you like a umbrella?
I knocked on your door with the umbrella. Save the pressure, save the stress on my hands.
This dude worked as a farmhand for the Picards and had been invited to breakfast that day that she disappeared. He was said to cuddle her a lot and had been heard telling her
Joe Biden?
that he'd find her a good home near their town. You know, maybe don't tell my 2-year-old
Yeah.
that you're going to find
One day
her.
I'm going to take you away from this place.
Yeah. Around 1 p.m. on the
so
day of the
bad.
disappearance, he was left alone with Pauline and was overheard telling her that she's going to go with him. Sounds like a pretty strong suspect.
How can he be left alone
Yeah.
and overheard?
Yeah.
Who,
Oh, yeah. Like, who's...
But yeah, also, who's just leaving...
Which, I mean, I guess maybe that means, like, he was in another... Like, they were in the same room together. Like,
Yeah,
next
okay.
room over was one of the...
All right,
you
yeah.
know. Police followed this, this possible lead. They followed the path that he would have taken to leave town and decided that he couldn't have committed the crime based on the timing. He was jailed, though, and released on May 10th for fraud, but this was not related to the disappearance. Then there was also a middle-aged farmer, Eve Martin. This guy is... I don't know if this guy took her, but he did something. He visited the Picards and said that he understood their daughter had been found. When told that... Oh, this was so... And this... Little spoiler alert here.
Okay.
So something else happens before too long. So this is after that happens. I should have pasted this later. But I'll come back to this.
Okay.
So shortly after the police...
I don't know what's happening.
You're fine.
Okay.
So shortly after the police had filed the case as unexplainable, a girl matching Pauline's description was seen in Cherbourg, more than 300 miles away. She was found abandoned in the hallway of a local home and was brought to the hospital. The little girl was seen a few days earlier in town with a poorly clothed woman who had tried to abandon her in a store, but was chased down and given the child back. Like, 1922. I don't think CPS was a thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, life hack, if you see somebody trying to abandon their child, don't give that child, don't force that child back to that person.
Find a better place for the child.
Yeah. So authorities showed a photograph of this child to Pauline's mother, and she burst into tears saying, "That's my daughter." The family immediately took a train to Cherbourg to bring their missing daughter home. When the Picards first saw the girl at the hospital in Cherbourg, they weren't convinced it was her. The girl had no reaction to seeing her parents, or, you know, the parents, and she remained mute. The parents tried to speak to her in the local language. She didn't appear to understand any of it. The Picards did stay with her, though. She's also, yeah. The Picards stayed with her, talking, and I think this was like maybe a year or so after she'd been, or no, the same year. So yeah, she's 2. The Picards hung around, though, you know, talking to her, like treating her like she was their daughter, you know, because they think maybe she was. But she seemed very indifferent towards them. She looked like she looked like an underfed version of their daughter, and she didn't seem to recognize any of them. Medically, she was fine. The clothing she was found in was not recognizable to her parents, though. However, still, the parents were convinced that this was Pauline after spending a few days with her.
They want to believe that for sure. You know,
When asked if they were sure, the father replied that of course, because she has the same hair and the same blue eyes. So the hospital sent her home with the parents in hopes that her surroundings would spark her memory and get her talking. The hope was that this girl was just traumatized and malnourished, and that she'd quickly recover. On the way home, the girl is said to have spoke 3 words in the family's local language on the train, but who knows if she was just repeating back things that she'd heard them say.
She said, "Live, laugh, love."
Then, upon returning to the farm in Saint Revol, the little girl's siblings immediately recognized her as Pauline, and the family as a whole seemed to have moved on from any doubts as to the girl's identity. So now rewinding, so a middle-aged farmer named Eve Martin visited the Picards, and he said that he'd understood that their daughter had been found. When told that she had, he asked, "Are you sure it's Pauline?" Then he added, "God forgive me, I am guilty." Then, in wild laughter, he rushed from the farm, and the following day was taken to a lunatic asylum, raving mad. So again, I don't know if he took Pauline, but he had done something. Like, that's what you don't want to have. You don't want to, like, find the little kid that you think is maybe your daughter, and then some dude show up and just be like, I'm guilty. And then run off.
Got you good. The old move your child 300 miles away.
So, at the end of May 1922, a farmer crossing a field about a mile from St. Rival discovered the horribly mutilated and decomposing body of a small girl.
Oh, what the fuck?
She was naked and her head was cut off.
Oh, fuck.
Close by, carefully folded, lay the clothes which Pauline had been wearing on the day she went missing. The clothes were not scattered around, indicating that someone had placed them there. The farmer rushed to the village and returned to the local police, followed by the townspeople, among them the Picards, who recognized the clothes as those worn by Pauline the day she disappeared. The body could not be identified because the face had been partly devoured by foxes.
Well, plus the head got cut off, you said.
Yes, I mean, the head was like, there.
Yeah. Okay.
The body was in an area that searchers had covered many times before the initial search operation. The head, hands, and feet were missing.
Yeah, they had 100 people, you said.
Yeah, like 150 people out there looking.
Out there searching.
Like, time and time again.
Yeah.
The head, hands, and feet were missing, and then, the severed head was found nearby. Or a severed head was found nearby. An examination of the remains was done, and the severed head was found to be abnormal for a child. Later, it was found to be that of an adult male. So, they found the body, of a dead little girl...
With the head
of an adult male.
That's
not good.
That doesn't make sense.
I'm
no doctor. I'm no doctor.
But you try putting this together.
Yeah, it's not. Doesn't make sense.
The medical examiners were unable to state a cause of death. Marks on some of the bones could have been cuts or bite marks from animals. Her stomach could be empty because she starved outside or because her captors hadn't fed her. The final report stated that Pauline probably froze to death after becoming lost. Because, depending on how these, the foot, hands, and everything were severed, were they severed cleanly with a knife, or were they eaten off? Because that would, be some vital information.
Why the clothes? Obviously
Because somebody clearly folded them. She wouldn't take her clothes off, fold them neatly.
Not at 2.
Yeah.
I've heard of hyperthermia. People will get to a point where they think they're hot.
Yeah.
And they take clothes off. But I can't see... But a 2-year-old in that sort of state to be like, oh, better fold up. Yeah.
So following the discovery of her body, the big question was, who was the girl from Cherbourg that the Picards had been caring for? Pauline's family had no idea what to think at this point. They brought home a little girl who they believed was their lost Pauline, but now a body was found with Pauline's clothing folded neatly nearby. And the body seemed to match Pauline's. At the end of May 1922, the lady who had been seen trying to abandon a girl in Cherbourg was apparently found. However, it was later discovered that she had a daughter with her. So, no idea if that was even her little girl.
Wow.
It was speculated that the girl's parents had immigrated to America. In mid-June, the Picards sent the girl back for adoption in Cherbourg.
Oh, fuck! It's not that little girl's fault. I was just, feeling bad for her because she's
this girl's just being,
They think I'm part of their family. Okay, I'm gonna go with these fucking people.
Now, nope, we don't want you either.
Oh, you found your dead daughter, now you don't want me?
Somebody had already tried
Call me Pauline, I don't mind!
Somebody had already tried to abandon her and, was forced to take her back. And now these people get her, and they're giving her back.
Jesus.
So the field where Pauline was discovered was carefully searched when she went missing, so the police focused on the theory that she'd been placed there some days later. The neatly folded clothes made it seem more likely foul play was involved. And who was the second victim? The skull found near Pauline's body.
Homeboy.
Courts determined that the body was that of Pauline Picard and ruled the cause of death accidental.
Oh!
You'd think that, an entirely different severed head would... throw up some red flags.
That was an accident, too.
But this is France, and they do have a history of severed heads rolling around, so maybe they were just
1920s.
Yeah. The little girl who had been found and who the Picards thought was possibly their daughter was sent back to Cherbourg at the request of the prosecutors. 2 months later, she was speaking complete sentences in that local language of the Picard family. Prompting the courts to declare her, it's called Breton, is the language, Breton. And again, then they suggested she was the real Pauline Picard.
Oh.
But news coverage of the little girl, whom they referred to as the girl with the pretty smile, led interested families to request to adopt her. She was named Marie-Louise Pauline by the Civil Court of Cherbourg and placed in the care of the Franciscan Sisters of Notre Dame du Veilleux. Her death there is reported on January 2nd, 1924, a victim of measles.
Jesus.
So, did Pauline Picard wander away and die, or was she found, reunited with her family, and then given away by her family
and then die
after a body resembling hers? Yeah. Like, yeah. So
it's amazing that this shit was even written down. Like, be history. Like, they didn't just, like...
What a crazy, poor, like, that poor little fucking girl.
That whole story, the family involved with it, like, the siblings, it said, and just...
Yeah. I mean, that's gotta be, like, for that family to... lose their little girl, think they found her, then give that girl back, only to then kind of wonder,
maybe that is her.
Fuck, was that her?
That again.
Yeah.
Hell of a story.
So, yeah, that's one of those ones that's still...
I'm glad we didn't save that one for last.
Unsolved. All right. So now we got
twins?
We got some twins. These are the Pollock twins. In May 1957, in the small town of Hexham, England, 11-year-old Joanna Pollock and her younger sister, 6-year-old Jacqueline, were on their way to church with their friend Anthony when they were struck by an erratic driver. Almost instantly, the two young sisters were killed. Aww. Anthony, just 9 years old, died while traveling to the hospital. It was later discovered that the driver, a local woman who was under the influence of a number of drugs, had intentionally hit the three children after being forcibly separated from her own kids.
Jeez.
She was trying to kill herself, too.
Let's not save this one for last. We'll do the other.
You have a feel good.
We'll do the other really sad story for last.
The case later made headlines throughout Britain, with the woman eventually taken to a psychiatric hospital. Following the death of Joanna and Jacqueline, the girls' parents, John and Florence, were devastated. But Florence later fell pregnant. John became convinced, she had twins this time.
Yeah.
John became convinced that the two girls were reborn, like that his previous daughters were reincarnated as these twins.
Yeah.
The couple, who were devout Catholics, often argued over the premise of reincarnation, with Florence strongly rejecting John's belief.
I mean, just let them believe that shit. How bad would that be to, like, lose 3 of your kids in a fucking terrible accident like that?
The other was a family friend.
Oh, family friend. Okay,
yeah.
But still. And then there's, like, you want to believe that you have these twins, and, like, just let a fucker believe
right.
it.
Right. So, like, this argument really, like, threatened their marriage. As a result, Florence almost filed for divorce over this. There was no history of twins in either parent's family, and Florence's doctors had predicted a single birth, meaning the likelihood of twins was low. But, against all odds, Florence gave birth to twin girls on October 4th, 1958. The twins were named Jillian and Jennifer. While the twins were identical, the pair had different birthmarks, which is considered highly unusual. Jennifer had a small birthmark on her left hip, which mimicked a birthmark that Jacqueline had.
Oh, wow.
She also had a birthmark on her forehead, which was similar to a small scar that Jacqueline had in the same spot. When the twins were 3 months old, the family relocated to Whitley Bay, east of Hexham. As the girls got older, it became clear that Jillian and Jennifer seemed to remember Hexham in detail, despite not growing up in the small town.
Oh, wow.
When the family returned to Hexham when the girls were 4, the twins pointed out and named landmarks they had never seen before, such as the school Joanna and Jacqueline had attended, which was the Hexham Abbey, and a playground their deceased sisters had loved. The pair even seemed to know the way to the playground without ever having been to it. Likewise, the twins were able to identify their late sister's toys by name. Although Florence had stored the late girl's toys out of sight, the twins started asking for certain toys back. In fact, it was almost as if the twins remembered the toys as their own. They were able to name their toys by their names previously given to them, as they even divided the toys up exactly as their sisters did.
Oh, wow.
They also referred to the fact that the toys came from Santa Claus, which is what the two deceased girls had believed. Florence and John also noticed that the twins had very similar personalities when compared to their older sisters. While Joanna was very protective of her younger sister Jacqueline, Jillian seemed more mature than her twin sister. Jillian, who was born 10 minutes before Jennifer, also often looked after her twin, much like Joanna looked after Jacqueline. The parents also noted that the twins even enjoyed the same games and foods as their siblings. For the first few years of the twins' life, Florence continued to reject John's suggestion that the pair had been reincarnated. After finding the twins talking about the car accident, however, she changed her mind. On one occasion, Florence overheard the girls playing a game where they recreated their sister's accident. Jillian was cradling Jennifer's head, telling her, "The blood's coming out of your eyes. That's where the car hit you." On another occasion,
Can't say the darndest things.
and the creepiest things. On another occasion, Jillian pointed to Jennifer's birthmark on her forehead and told her, "That is the mark Jennifer got when she fell in a bucket." Interestingly, the twin girls also appeared to have a fear of cars. In their younger years, the twins experienced recurring nightmares about being hit by a car. Jillian and Jennifer also regularly became frightened and anxious while near cars. When a car started in its engine in an alleyway, John recalled the girls grabbing onto each other in terror, shouting, "The car is coming to get us." Shortly after the twins turned 5, the memories of their past life began to fade away. While the twins lost their memories of the accident...
And I wonder if that's because that's about kind of when you become conscious in your own life.
Yeah.
I think. It's
like
around
your own
5 or
experiences
6.
start to
Yeah.
While the twins lost their memories of the accident entirely, Jillian later recalled experiencing visions of herself playing in a sandpit at home in Wickham. While Jennifer had never been to Wickham, she was able to perfectly describe the house and garden that matched the home that Joanna had once lived in with her parents at 4 years old. While the case of the Pollock twins has long been cited as proof of reincarnation, others have argued that the twins' memory were maybe influenced by their older brothers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
While John and Florence claimed they didn't speak to the twins about their deceased sisters until they were older, it has been noted that the twins may have learned about their story from their brothers.
Yeah.
But that's a hell of a ruse to keep up.
Yeah, and did the brothers talk about that much?
And was it were they putting them up to doing these kind of things? Like, that's just...
I could believe the reincarnation thing. I believe, it's like you always say, just the energy of... I could believe that.
I mean, maybe if it was one instance.
Yeah.
And the brothers were
But
being
the dreams
assholes.
and the toys and how would they still, even if the brothers talked about the places that they used to be, I don't know.
Like, the detail they knew.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It could have been... But it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then how it just kind of went away. Like, even if it was they thought they were joking or just creeping their parents out, to just completely stop it all of a sudden is weird.
Once they get their own little whatever.
So I don't know. All 3 of those missed unsolvable.
I'm Robert Stack.
I do believe at least 2 of those stories were on Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, kind of bummer stories.
Well, yeah, that one wasn't as much as bummer as the last one with the 2-year-old girl, but pretty bummer. And I don't have a feel good.
All right then. So what do you think's going on with with all the shit being shot down?
I have
balloons
no idea.
and such.
I mean, if they're saying China is spying on us, why do they need balloons to spy on us? Go fucking on Facebook. Go on TikTok. Go on anything.
Right.
You don't need to spy. We put our lives out there.
The only thing the path of that was going over where we have a lot of missile sites.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I heard that.
So
yeah,
but then it's weird how news coverage works. So they get the Chinese, that balloon, and now all of a sudden they said they changed the way they changed the telescopes or whatever the hell they're using, surveillance systems, to pick up more of these, So, they're looking further up in the air. So that's why we're seeing more. So has this shit just been, constantly, balloons have been constantly flying over?
I feel but I don't know what the altitude is, but it's many planes that fly over the United States every single...
Yeah.
But it could be below that altitude, I don't know.
Now, my question is, so what happens if there is an alien? Okay. Let's say, all of a sudden there's an alien. When COVID hit, and everybody thought it was, the next plague. And around the same time, we had, the riots and, the protests because of George Floyd.
Yeah.
To me, that was, a lot going on, and it was very hard to go to work and try to, you're supposed to be just focused on, this mundane-ass job where you're hey, history's happening.
Yeah.
So,
the attack on the Capitol.
So, how is this going to work if an alien... are we expected to go to work?
With, knowing the aliens are out there?
Yeah, are we expected to just be well, let's just go about our days everything's normal?
Aliens get in this any second now. Gotta be at work by 8:30.
I'm very curious as how the world's going to respond.
Because the world runs by money, and there's no...
Yeah.
There's money and fear, but I don't know how, like... You can't, like, sorry I didn't pay rent, but the aliens are out there.
But there are aliens.
There are aliens,
so,
like,
turns out,
on us now.
World's
so I don't give a
crazy.
shit what's happening now.
So, if there are aliens, if all of a sudden tomorrow we get news footage and it's confirmed...
Yeah, would we still do fucking comedy shows? Like, what the fuck?
What do you think would change about your worldview? Like, all of a sudden know, okay, there are other things out there, and there's one here.
Honestly, I don't think it would. I don't see it changing much for me because, like, I'm not like opposed to the idea there's others out there and stuff. All right now, I just live and let live, and I would hope the aliens would just live and let live.
So, and then I'm wondering, what does this do to like very religious people?
Oh,
are we just going to now? Like, are they just going to now roll into like God created aliens too?
Oh no, aliens are probably like an affront on God.
Like, how is this going to work?
Yeah, it's not going to be good. Nothing ever is good.
So, I don't know. It's very interesting times.
Have you seen Independence Day?
I have.
That's what aliens are going to do.
Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, we started shooting them out of the sky if possible,
Yeah.
So we've already kind of, if these are alien crafts.
And that's gonna, maybe they're just like, they're here peacefully, and we're like, bang, 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 pew, 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 pew.
Yeah.
And we're just getting them mad at us.
Yeah, they're like, well, we did come here to help you guys with like a lot of things, but now, fuck you.
Now, you done pew-pewed at us.
You done pew-pewed at us. Yeah, I don't know. There's some like astrophysicist, I forget his name now, but he was talking about how this could be possible. Like, it could be possible that aliens were like, because to be able to travel, to be able to be from a distance that we haven't like seen yet.
Yeah.
The amount of time it would take to travel would be like so astronomically crazy to think about.
Unfathomable.
But he was talking about how like if you take
like light years.
Let's say there's aliens that are advanced millions of years ahead of us. They may have figured out ways to. It's like something about like you're basically using the energy from the sun and space, and you're like melting the fabric. Like, he had this whole explanation of how.
I'll have some of what he's having.
Yeah, but you would basically like be melting to where you could like come through wormholes. Basically, Star Wars technology.
Yeah. So even though it takes so long, like they're still so far in the future, but they have that technology where they can come and be here now with us.
Yeah, like warp speed.
Awesome. Yeah, warp speed.
You know, interesting times. I think.
Sure.
It's some crazy shit going on, but yeah, we're just expected to like
just go about your business.
Just go to work. Everything's cool. I don't know. I
film your TikToks.
Like
the
I said,
aliens
when all
are
that
coming.
shit was going on with COVID, and I was just like, I'd be in the office. I'd be like, so I'm just here, huh?
Yeah. I could get this any second and die, but I'm out here.
But I'm supposed to just be like,
I got bills to pay.
Yeah. All right.
We're off the rails.
Your next show is
Saturday, February 25th, Lost Anchor
in Vienna.
And we'll get some stuff out there for the other shows. And fuck Menards.
Yeah, fuck it hard.
Fuck it hard.
Fuck
Menards so hard.
We will have, if you haven't listened already to the first episode of Ronnie Crawdad on Rooster Crow Radio, that is available now, as is the first episode of the Cosmic Whiskey Hour.
Yeah.
And we will have new episodes of both of those shows available this weekend.
Listen to all of this stuff.
Listen to everything.
Yeah. Come to all the comedy shows.
Yeah.
Go to Cash's job and just support him at work.
Just bother me.
just tell him, don't worry about the aliens, buddy.
Just,
let him know it's going to be all right.
Hey, Cash deserves to not be able to have to be here for 8 hours a day.
Yeah. Good boy extraordinaire.
Let him leave. Pay him to not be here. It's worth your money to not have him around. All right. You got anything else?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, until next time.
Fuck Menards.
See you guys later. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.